So, think you got what it takes to toe the line in the fastest growing sport in the world, BKFC? Well, then you better not miss this story with Nate Shook, the matchmaker. Joining me today is the hardest working matchmaker in the business, Nate Shook. How are you tonight, Nate?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming on. We're just getting so close to so many fights here. The first thing I want to start off with is let's talk about Toe the Line series because it's coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So Toe the Line Fight Series is a company that puts together local promotions and regional fight promotions with the Bare Knuckle TV app. So Toe the Line itself is not a fight promotion. What I do is I go out and I find local and regional promoters that are doing a great job in other combat sports that want to promote Bare Knuckle. And then I connect them with the Bare Knuckle TV app to give them more exposure on a huge platform.
So are the rules the same between the two companies then, sir?
Absolutely. So there are some things that the promoters have to stick with. So they have to have the fighters start in the center of the ring, just like BKFC. It is 5 rounds, each are 2 minutes each. So the whole sport is still the same. It's just on a local level.
So Nate, are you using a different size ring or is it the same as the one for BKFC?
So we won't be using the squared circle. The local promoters utilize whatever's approved in their state. So for example, in Mississippi, we'll be using a 22-foot boxing ring, but in Kansas, we'll end up using a 20-foot boxing ring.
You know, I think it's important to mention the local promotion, Legacy Promotions, because I applaud them for stepping up to the plate and being a part of this.
Absolutely. So when we were out there talking to promoters, there were several things that we were looking for. And the one great thing with Legacy is that Cody already fought for us, so he understands Bare Knuckle. So it just seemed like a good fit for us.
How do you decide what people you put on the card from BKFC?
So it's kind of tough. BKFC only has about 10 events a year, but they have 250 plus fighters on the roster. So we look at it, and some of these fighters that are going to fight Toe the Line are fighters that want to get active or want to stay active, but they don't have any upcoming fights for BKFC. So they decided to come down to a local promotion to showcase their skills and still get the exposure on the Bare Knuckle TV app.
So Nate, can you talk a little bit about some of the interesting matchups that are coming up at Toe the Line Series 1?
So there is 8 fights currently scheduled. We're working on a 9th fight right now. The headlining fight or the main event is Teddy Webster versus Frank Tate. Teddy Webster was supposed to fight on BKFC in Oxford, but his opponent fell out the day of weigh-ins. Frank Tate has already fought BKFC where he lost on that Oxford card. But from top to bottom, we have, like I said, 8 fights on the card. We have some new guys coming on in. We have with some experience in bare knuckle. We have some fresh blood coming in that really want to try it out. Our opening bout is Denton versus Rogers. It's a fight that was supposed to happen on the last show, and it didn't happen. But we have a lot of people coming back with T. Cummings, Brian Maxwell, and others from BKFC.
Wow, definitely looking forward to that. I feel, and I spoke to David Feldman about this, that this was kind of like the next logical step for BKFC to establish a feeder series, so to speak, or a feeder league.
So with that, BKFC and Toe the Line are 2 separate companies. And a lot of people, because I am the matchmaker for BKFC and I'm also overseeing Toe the Line Fight Series, they believe it's the same product, but it's not. The big part is I went to Dave and I told him that we were hoping these other promotions that were doing bare knuckle were going to survive, because at the end of the day, we need more shows out there because we need more people fighting bare knuckle so we can see the good ones and bring them on over. But since no one else was able to be successful, and I got to watch how Dave grew this sport from day one, I was able to then say, hey, how about if I go and I find the promoters, I mentor them, I bring them on the app, and we make the Bare Knuckle TV app the exclusive place for bare knuckle fighting.
What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about bare knuckle as a sport?
I think it's the safety. They see the blood and they just assume that the sport is more dangerous than boxing and mixed martial arts, which honestly couldn't be further from the truth. Statistically speaking, there's less injuries in bare knuckle and less severe injuries. Fighters get cut, it happens. But at the end of the day, when we talk to a fighter and we tell them, if you had the choice of getting punched in the face by a bare fist or someone grabbing the back of your head and kneeing you in the face as hard as possible, which would you choose? And everyone says they'd rather get punched in the face with a bare knuckle because it does less damage. So I think the blood scares people, but we're growing. We have states, we have like 4 or 5 states that we've been in front of recently, and we're going to see bare knuckle fighting probably in 12 to 14 states by the end of 2021.
And congratulations, because both you and Dave have worked so hard for this, the entire team. So it's inspiring to me as a business owner that you guys just no meant yes, as I always say to Dave. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys expand and get into new states. How important is strategy in a bare knuckle fight?
Every fighter actually has a different strategy. People that watch the sport see guys like Jim Allers that come off the line and try to overwhelm their opponent early, while other fighters are more defensive and use more boxing techniques. Reggie Barnett, for example. Reggie does phenomenal utilizing boxing, but we see different levels of aggression and different styles. So as the sport grows, we'll start seeing fighters evolve in the sport, just like people see in jiu-jitsu, for example.
Personally, because you have worked so hard to make this happen along with Dave, how do you feel that people are finally giving you the respect and recognition that you deserve?
So going back to the first time Dave told me about this was June 2011. And he told me about the show he was going to do in August. And we were sitting at a casino and we were going over it. And I just thought it was amazing. But when I started reaching out to people that I respected in the combat sports world, referees, coaches, no one thought that we'd be able to get legitimate fighters, especially in their prime, to come on over to bare knuckle fighting. Fast forward, 8 years later, 7 years later, Dave pulls off the first legal sanctioned regular bare knuckle fighting event in Wyoming, or in history, but it happened in Wyoming. And then now, we signed Paige Van Zandt, who is in her prime and was the biggest free agent on the market, and she chose bare knuckle fighting over mixed martial arts. So I think the people that thought we weren't going to succeed before have come around and realized that we're here to stay.
Amen, because I'm a big fan. Before we go to Nate, is there anything else you want to add, Nate? And please tell our viewers where they can watch the Toe the Line series and see more of BKFC.
Yeah, so everyone, BKTVApp.com is going to be the home for all Toe the Line fight series and BKFC events. I just want to say thanks to our sponsors. We have Tiger Life and Fusion are two of our big sponsors out there right now. We have a couple more that we're talking to, so hopefully I can give them a shout out here next couple days. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for supporting this sport. Go to our social media, like us and follow us. And I'll be talking to you again soon with updates on the next show.
Thanks to BKFC matchmaker Nate Shook for giving me the opportunity to interview him for Must Love MMA and Bare Knuckle News. If you like this story, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, share it, make a comment. And if you want to fight Bare Knuckle FC, you can follow Nate Shook on his Instagram. That's BKFC_matchmaker. Maybe you'll have what it takes to toe the line. For Must Love MMA and Bare Knuckle News, I'm Susan Cingari. And remember, no one beats us to the punch.